Beauty standards might have evolved over time, but the underlying principles always remain the same. Jawlines have always played an integral part in defining a person's features, and a defined jawline has always been a coveted facial feature, desirable across all cultures and in both sexes, especially for men. The jawline, associated with beauty, youth, and strength, is one of the most important facial features that profoundly affects your attractiveness. And in the right candidates, small adjustments to the chin and jawline have a huge impact on their appearance. So it's no wonder jawline and chin fillers, being that they're non-invasive, rapidly gained popularity and went mainstream. In the US from 2020 to 2021, chin augmentation increased by almost 30%. Apparently, chin and jawline have become fashion's new pressure point, and a defined jawline has replaced high cheekbones as beauty's most wanted. It has become the must-have aesthetic treatment, some even going overboard with jawline filler, creating what some call the square face trend. So if you're curious about how you can enhance your jawline, or if you're a good candidate for jawline filler, you're going to want to watch this video, because I'm going to show you how you can determine if jawline or chin filler is right for you, and if it's really worthwhile to do to enhance your look. I'll show you real patient before and afters. We'll discuss mewing, and if Sculptra can give you the same results as jawline filler. And I'm also going to discuss key factors that can help you get a defined jawline that goes beyond just getting jawline filler. And we're starting right now. Your jawline is the external appearance of your jawbone or mandible. It extends from the base of your ear to your chin, the chin being the anterior region of your mandible below your lower lip. Your jawline plays a significant role in framing your face, and it contributes to your facial shape and provides your lower face with structure. It also helps separate your lower face from your neck. When it comes to jawlines, you've probably heard the term chiseled, sharp, or sculpted expressed as being desirable. This is because the clearer and more defined your jawline, the better it separates your lower face from your neck, while less defined jawlines tend to blend the two together, giving the impression of more facial fat due to less structural definition to the lower face. Another reason that defined jawlines are associated with beauty cross-culturally is because of what we've spoken about in other videos. Beauty is strongly associated with looking healthy. Well-defined, crisp jawlines are more associated with those who have a healthy BMI, especially in those who are physically fit and lean with a low body fat percentage. Defined jawlines are also usually a good sign of good dental health and a good sign of good bone structure. Your facial structure, including your jawline, is determined predominantly by your genetics. This genetic code defines the shape and prominence of your mandible or jawbone. This genetic code can also determine how much subcutaneous fat surrounds your jawline. All of their jawlines display submental fullness, more commonly known as double chins. And you can see Ivanka likely had liposuction underneath her chin, a nose job, and possibly even a jawline and chin implant. The width and length of our jaw vary considerably among individuals, and no universal measurement dictates the perfect or ideal jaw width and length. But if we divide the face into thirds, jawlines that are around a third of the upper 2/3 of our face creates more harmony and more balanced distribution of facial features. Therefore, they're often considered more attractive than jawlines that are noticeably smaller or larger than the upper 2/3 of our face. If the chin and jawline are very small, it can make the face seem less balanced, and if there's less structure to the lower face, the eyes tend to focus more on the midface, which can make the nose appear more prominent. A chin that sits too far forward can also disrupt the facial balance. The most famous family known for their jawlines were the Habsburg family, who ruled Spain in the 16th and 17th centuries. During their reign, they practiced a form of marriage known as incestuous intermarriage, which involved marrying and having children with close relatives like cousins, nieces, or even sisters. This was done to ensure that power remained concentrated within the family, but it led to a limited gene pool, which many attribute their jaw prognathism to, which is a condition in which your jaw is positioned more forward. So these are the ways in which the jawline has a major impact on contributing to your distinct look. When it comes to sexual attraction, the mandible or jawbone exhibits significant sexual differences. Sexual dimorphism refers to the physical differences between males and females, and these differences influence what individuals find attractive. The jawline is a very sexual dimorphic trait that's especially significant for males. The shape and size of our mandibles vary between males and females. Male mandibles are usually larger in size and more robust than females. The horizontal dimension of our mandible plays a significant role in our overall facial width, and the width of our lower face is determined by the distance between the two lower apexes of the mandible. This distance is known as the bigonial width. Males usually have a larger bigonial width than females, so they usually have wider jawlines. The angle of the jaw, also known as the gonial angle, is the point at which the mandibular body, the horizontal portion of the mandible, meets the ramus, the vertical portion of the mandible. Men tend to have a smaller, more acute gonial angle than females, who tend to have a more obtuse angle, which can help result in a more feminine appearance of their mandible. Chins also show sexual dimorphism, as they tend to be larger and wider in males and more narrow in females. While well-defined jawlines are universally considered attractive for both males and females, they hold particular significance as a masculine feature for men. The jawline embodies male vanity, and men with defined jawlines are often cast to play heroic roles, as stronger jawlines have been linked to higher testosterone and are associated with youthfulness. Although well-defined jawlines are admired in both sexes, when it comes to sexual dimorphism, overly wide and prominent jawlines, especially in females, can make a feminine face look more masculine and overshadow other facial features, taking attention away from the eyes and lips. This is why Botox to the masseter muscles for facial slimming, which we spoke about in detail in this video, is such a popular treatment for women as opposed to men. Jawlines and chins can also vary by ancestry and facial type. Anyone having a brachycephalic facial type will usually have a wider face and more prominent jawline compared to other facial types, and East Asians tend to have this facial type more often, resulting in a wider bigonial width and generally wider jawlines compared to other ancestry groups. If you've watched my chin filler video, you already know that chins can vary by ancestry. Chin projection is usually most prominent amongst Europeans and less prominent amongst East Asians and Africans. If you desire the snatched, well-defined jawline, but your jawline lacks definition, before you even think about getting jawline filler, you need to ask yourself this one very important question. Are you at your ideal body weight? The jawline is probably the most impacted facial feature that's affected by your weight, and fluctuations in weight often result in noticeable changes to its definition and prominence. And if you're overweight, you may want to avoid getting jawline filler, and I'll tell you why. Charmaine Isabella is a mid-sized fashion and beauty influencer who got jawline filler, but it ended up making her look very square and heavy. I personally don't think jawline filler was going to do much for her because she already appeared to have a pretty well-defined jawline. And I'm not sure how many syringes she got done, but I know of a plus-size influencer who had this happen to her. Her story is she wanted to get more definition to her face, and as discussed in the facial fat video, if you're overweight, your facial fat will conceal the definition of your facial features, like your cheeks and jawline. So this plus-size influencer ended up getting cheek and jawline filler on more than one occasion. And it did give her the definition that she desired, but then she lost the weight. Probably, I would say at least 40 or 50 pounds. And after she lost the weight, her face looked pretty weird. It looked pretty similar to this, where her cheeks and jawline looked exaggerated and unnatural looking. If you're heavier, let's say you're 40 or 50 pounds or more overweight, and you want to get more definition to your jawline or cheeks, and you get filler done, we usually have to inject a larger amount of volume of filler in order to compensate for your thick, dense skin tissue, which is the result of excess facial fat. Losing weight, in my opinion, is the best way for you to get more definition to your jawline. Not every cosmetic provider is going to tell you this, because at the end of the day, they're making money when they do filler, or maybe they're just not comfortable telling you, but injecting an excessive amount of filler into someone's jawline or cheeks to give them more definition when they're overweight doesn't make sense to me. Even if I make money as an injector and I can give you a more defined jawline or a more defined cheeks by injecting filler, I'm working against your facial fat. The more overweight you are, the more filler that will be required to counteract the facial fat. In this instance, there are so many more bonuses with weight loss than doing jawline filler. One, you don't have to spend a dime on filler, and two, if you lose the weight, your skin tissue will become less thick and heavy. And if filler is still desired after that, it'll be easier to get more definition with filler and less product will be needed. And let's not forget, weight loss would likely lead to better health and enhanced attraction to your face and your body. So make sure you take your weight into consideration before considering jawline filler. And it doesn't have to be a lot of weight. Sometimes 12 to 20 pounds, depending on your height, can make a noticeable difference. And if you want to go more in depth with weight and attraction and how it relates to getting cosmetic injections, be sure to watch the facial fat and attraction video. Chin projection, on the other hand, doesn't have as much to do with weight. So if you have some extra pounds to shed and you're not at your ideal body weight, you can likely enhance your profile with chin filler, because even if you lost the weight, it wouldn't project your chin more forward. So how do you determine if you're a good candidate for jawline and chin filler? First, you make sure you address the two reasons for lack of jawline definition above and below your jawline.
Lack of definition above the jawline could be caused by jowls. So if your lack of jawline definition wasn't noticed until your 40s or so, and you have loose skin around your jawline, you likely have jowls. And that has to be addressed in multiple ways. And to learn more about how to treat jowls, make sure you check this video out after. Lack of definition below the jawline can be caused by submental fat, also known as a double chin. And this can be present even if you are not overweight, if it's genetic. A common thing I ask patients when it comes to double chins is, does this fullness under your jawline stay or go away if you lose weight? Does mom and dad have this? If they say it doesn't go away even when they're at their ideal body weight, then it could be genetic. And before you consider getting jawline filler, I would address your submental fullness first, because if you get rid of it, you will have more jawline definition and you may not even need to consider jawline filler. And the two non-invasive ways of addressing submental fat would either be Kybella, which is an injectable that targets fat to this area, or cool sculpting, or if you don't mind the invasive route, you could have liposuction. So once you've addressed that your lack of jawline definition isn't from jowls or a double chin, I recommend starting with assessing your chin first.
Non-defined jawlines are very much associated with a recessed or smaller chin.
Our chins are a very critical component of our side profile. And when it comes to jawlines, no matter what race you are, no matter what sex you are, a chin that sits back and is not well projected can make the face look less balanced on side and profile views. And addressing the chin makes a huge difference on your profile. If you were to start by treating your jawline before addressing your chin, you wouldn't be doing your profile any justice, because the profile could become even more noticeably imbalanced by prioritizing your jawline before treating your chin. In many instances, you can have a well-defined jawline, but a chin that's not projected.
The lovely House of Dragon actress Millie Alcock is a great example. She has a moderately defined jawline, but her chin doesn't have much projection from the side. If she projected her chin with filler, it could balance her profile. She's a great candidate for chin filler, and she can also benefit from Botox dermatalis muscle. You can see it's tense here. If you have a chin that's kind of round on profile view, and it has a rounded edge that curves back like this, you're likely a great candidate for chin filler. So in order to adequately measure this in more detail, from a neutral position of your head, meaning it's not tilted up or down, it's neutral like this, you draw a perfectly straight vertical line from the border of your lower lip. And you can take a profile picture of yourself in order to assess this. You then draw a thin vertical line. If there's a gap between the line and your chin, you can likely benefit from chin filler.
Now, if you're a good candidate for chin filler, I would start by addressing that first. And depending on how recessed or how far your chin sits back, will determine how many syringes of filler you'll need. And if you want to learn more about it,
check this video out. After evaluating your chin, you can move on to assessing the side and back areas of your jawline. I created a jawline definition scale to help you determine if you're a good candidate for jawline filler. This is Adam Driver. We enhanced and softened the definition of his jawline and recessed and projected his chin in order to give you an idea of how your jawline and chin impact your look and whether or not you can benefit from treatment. Grade 3, there's pretty much no structure to the jawline, and it has a very rounded appearance, and there's a lot of soft tissue. In these cases, the jawline is usually much shorter or smaller than the upper 2/3 of the face, and the chin is very recessed. Grade 2, there's very mild structure to the jawline with a slightly round appearance. Grade 1, there's moderate structure to the jawline. And in grade 0, the jawline is pretty well defined, and it has a lot of structure. It looks very sculpted, and it's pretty balanced with the upper 2/3 of the face. This is Adam's real profile taken from a photo. If he were to enhance his chin and jawline with filler, it could look similar to the photo on the right. I think it could help his face look more balanced, his nose look smaller, and accentuate his masculine features, which could enhance his attraction, all without going under the knife. This is why chin and jawline filler blew up in the media. And here's a similar scale for women. This is actress Lauren Lapkus. Her real profile is around grade 2, and you can really see how projecting the chin and giving a little more structure to the jawline really helps balance her face, and her nose looks smaller.
Now, this is really important because if you're grade 3, you'd likely be a better candidate for surgery. Probably a sliding genioplasty as opposed to a jawline or chin implant. I actually did several syringes of chin and jawline filler on someone with this grade. And when the jawline is very small like this, it's called microgenia. We did at least 5 syringes of filler on his chin and jawline with very minimal results because there just isn't enough bone structure to work with. So if your lower face looks smaller like this, you're likely a better candidate for surgery. But the good thing for men is that if you have a jawline that isn't well defined and you're a lucky enough man who can grow a full beard,
you can just grow a beard. Growing a beard can create the illusion of a more defined jawline and the illusion of more structure. The contrast between the beard and the skin creates a shadow effect, helping to distinguish and demarcate the lower face from the neck. This usually requires that you keep your beard a certain length. I think Edward Norton looks better with a beard. What do you think about guys and beards? Comment below. If you are a grade 2 or 1, you're likely a good candidate for chin and jawline filler. Here's a gentleman who was around a grade 2. So we started out with treating his chin initially, doing 2 syringes of filler, and you can see it helped balance his profile. And then we followed it up with a total of 3 more syringes. And with this, we treated the rest of his chin, and we also treated his jawline. And this helped enhance the definition of his jawline, and it added structure, which helped enhance his masculinity, and it balanced his profile. And it also made his nose appear smaller. Even though I ask people to keep the same neutral expression, which is essentially no facial expression when I take their photos, he radiates happiness in his after photo. And that commonly happens in enhancements like these because people feel so much more confident and attractive after. Now, another example that can make you a good candidate for jawline filler is if you have a very narrow facial width. She's also a good candidate for chin filler, and we determined that by the method that we spoke about earlier. So we started out treating her with 3 syringes of chin filler, and this helped balance her profile. And then we did 1 syringe of filler to her jawline with Velux, which gave her a little bit more jawline definition. She also had Sculptra to her lower cheeks and the lateral area of her face, which also helped give her a little bit more width, but she looks less narrow overall, which helped with her facial balancing.
So who aren't good candidates for jawline filler? If you already have a strong and pretty well-defined jawline filler isn't going to do much for you.
This beauty editor for Glamour magazine shares her story in this article on how she got jawline filler. Do you think this result made a big impact in enhancing her appearance?
Now, she's a beauty editor and she likely received this treatment complimentary. And while I don't think this made her look bad in any way, I also don't think it did that much to enhance her look. To me, she's less of an ideal candidate for jawline filler because she pretty much has strong jawline definition already. I personally think she could have enhanced her beauty more from getting lip filler. Comment below and let me know what you think. However, it's a little different for a guy.
If we take a look at this gentleman who serves as a model for the company that manufactures the Jawline Filler Velux, it's evident that he already possesses good jawline definition. However, the jawline is such an important facial feature for men, so they treated his jawline with filler, which amplified his masculinity further, thereby enhancing his overall attractiveness. In the same way women enhance their lips, even if they already have full lips, lip enhancements can amplify your femininity. So the million-dollar question is, can you use Sculptra to the jawline to achieve the same results?
No, I get this question all the time because people know I love Sculptra, but Sculptra won't give you these same results. And if you've watched my other videos on Sculptra, Sculptra doesn't really give you definition. It stimulates your skin to produce collagen and elastin, so it kind of blends everything back together. And I've also mentioned in videos that filler is fabulous for enhancements. And in this case, a chin enhancement, a jawline enhancement, because filler takes up space within the skin tissue, and depending on how much you use, it's able to enlarge your natural skin tissue, which is why we use it for the most popular area to enhance, which is lips. The filler that we use for jawlines and chins, it's a very robust gel, so it mimics the appearance of bone well and it enhances contour. And while Sculptra can be used for the jawline and chin, I like to use it for anti-aging, but it won't give you that razor sharp look that filler can.
Can you mew your way into a sculpted, larger mandible? I know mewing blew up on social media.
And I know I'm probably going to get comments on this video about how mewing really works. Mewing can be effective if you want to take a picture and have your jawline look temporarily more defined, but it's a very subtle and temporary fix. It's not going to completely restructure a face, and it will lose its effect as soon as your tongue sits back in its normal position.
There's no scientific evidence or research to prove that this technique gives a permanent effect in restructuring your jawline. And you can do your own research on mewing. I'm not going to spend much time trying to convince you that it has no scientific evidence. And often when people show their before and afters for mewing, a lot of times you can see that they've lost weight or maybe they're doing hormones, which can affect your facial bones.
And if you want to believe that you can just mew your way into a more defined jawline and it'll have permanent effects, go ahead, try it. It's free. And if you realize it doesn't work, jawline and chin filler will be here for you. If you're a good candidate, that is, which you should have learned from this video. But don't forget to watch these videos next to learn how you can enhance your look.